The Against All Odds podcast, sponsored by Oak Forest Recovery.
Welcome to the Against All Odds podcast. We have your hosts, me, Rachel, RJ, and Hunter, and we have special guest, Nick Colletti. Woo! Hey. Vine superstar, stand-up comic, and also in recovery, killing the game.
I am, yes.
Yeah, so glad you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate
And one
it.
of the real bros of Simi Valley.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
You can't leave that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels good to be here. Thank you guys for having me. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah. Thanks for flying me out.
Hell yeah.
Plane ride was sick.
Yeah.
Got some free food. It's all good.
That's right. That's right.
How long you been sober?
I've been sober for 4 months now. I actually just got my 4-month coin on Sunday. So,
Love
yeah.
Hell yeah.
It feels great.
And are you sober through the 12 steps?
I'm not. I do attend meetings. I'm very familiar with the 12 steps, but just for me, I don't work the steps. I just kind of do my own thing. I don't know if that's good or bad, but this is the longest I've been sober and since I was a teenager. So
Hell yeah,
I mean,
Punk
yeah.
sobriety, right?
Yeah,
The
seriously.
new kind.
Mhm.
The cool kind. He's doing
Punk
the cool
sobriety.
kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways up the mountain. You know what I mean? I think that sometimes people in 12-step communities, I'm a 12-step guy, but I think, some of us, we can get a little bit dogmatic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is the only way, right? But I think that, I don't know, the recovery process is like kind of like stretching a rubber band,
Yeah.
and you got to just find your way.
Yeah.
And the dope thing is you got 4 months sober.
Yeah.
It's fucking rad.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it feels like all the cliches like that you hear are true.
Yeah.
Like I would hear all these things in meetings and like, every day just keeps getting better, man. And I'm like, you guys are full of shit. And then you experience that and you're like, oh my God. Like every day it's like just these layers of things keep stripping away like just all the things that I would like drink and smoke over are like so much easier to handle than I thought they were.
Right.
To just face it head on. And it's like very they don't last, those feelings don't last forever. And I like was trying to fix these things that were very momentary.
Right.
And I'd end up just getting fucked up for the whole day. Like I was like awake, I would wake up and drink and I wasn't even giving myself a chance to like deal with these things on my own. I was like, I need to drink, I need to smoke, like,
Right.
but.
So what's it like dealing with emotions now that you're sober?
It's not easy. It's like there's shit that comes up that I'm like, fuck, that really sucks, but it's definitely way easier and way less. Like even if it's a day or 2 days, like of like feeling really shitty and depressed, like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get over this. Like it's just like proving to myself that it's gonna pass.
Right.
When in the past I was like, wow, I feel really shitty. Like I need to, and then you're drinking and then that makes you feel even shittier. And then, just breaking that cycle definitely has helped a lot.
Right. When did it start? Like, when did you realize that you maybe had a problem or like, where did it all come from? Where are you from?
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Pittsburgh, PA, yeah.
I heard that the other day. They told me you were from Pittsburgh, and like I've seen your stuff about Real Bros of Simi Valley, and I'm from here.
Okay.
Right. So grew up in Westlake.
Yeah.
Lived in Simi for a while, and when that came out, I was just like, dude, this is the sickest thing ever, dude.
Yeah.
It's circulated with me and all my friends because if you're from Westlake, we'd all make fun of Simi Valley.
Okay.
For the exact same things
Yeah.
that you guys put in that whole series.
Yeah, Jimmy and Christian killed it. It's like I've never really spent time there, but from what I've heard, like just like what you were saying, like it's spot on. So yeah.
I feel like we need to go on a field trip there. I've never been. I feel
Right.
like I'm missing out.
Your field trip can live in that. You know what I mean? Just watch it, and it's so spot on. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's what everyone says is like, how did you guys nailed it? And I'm like, I don't really know, but
Yeah. Who knew? Who was like the Eskimo that like...
Jimmy grew up out here. Jimmy and Christian both grew up out here. So
Got it.
I think Jimmy probably just, wrote what he knew.
Yeah.
And it took off. So,
Yeah, it's so rad.
yeah.
I thought it was one of the funniest things I'd ever watched, man.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate
It was
that.
epic.
Yeah, it was really fun to work on.
RJ was actually homeless, sleeping under a bridge in Simi Valley.
I was.
Oh, wow.
Cardboard sign right off Erringer and Sycamore.
Damn. What'd your
Yeah.
sign say?
It said, wife and kid at home. Anything helps. God bless.
Damn.
God bless.
Was that
was-
true?
Yeah. It was like an ex-wife and a kid that
okay.
and they had a restraining order against me.
Oh, okay.
So like, it's not like I was like.
Kind of true.
Yeah, it was kind of true.
Milking
I could riff on it. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? But I was like a fancy homeless dude.
That's baller.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'd go into Walgreens, steal razors, go to the Starbucks.
Nice.
bathroom. I was like,
Clean
shaved,
up.
clean,
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
button-up shirt, jeans, and then wife and kid. And I just like look at old women, just like
Please.
I can understand.
Anything helps.
Like I have a little kid at home. You know what I mean? And they'd be like hundreds. And I'm like,
Damn.
How much would you rake in on an average day?
well, the thing is I would never do it the whole day because I'd like get like $200 and I'm like, oh, I gotta call the dealer. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Totally.
And then I get like a Motel 6 room and Simi Valley, man.
Get after it. Yeah. I saw a homeless dude here last time I was here, and his sign just said "help."
Oh.
And I was like, dude, that's
That's good.
so like simple and perfect.
Yeah. Did you
I would
help?
definitely help.
No, I didn't. Long story short, I didn't. I should have.
Oh, shit.
It was a very vague sign.
Yeah. He just didn't give you like the puppy eyes enough. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like you gotta lock in.
But I was like, dude, I respect it. Like, just help. Like, that's
Help.
awesome.
yeah.
I mean, it's not awesome, but
Awesome sign.
Awesome
Not
sign.
an awesome
Yeah, no.
situation.
Awesome strategy.
Yeah.
awesome strategy.
So so you blew up on Vine originally.
Yes.
So
How
what
did
was
you
that
get
like?
into that? I want to hear the back. Let's get a little backstory first.
Yeah.
Like, how did that happen?
My friend actually, my best friend growing up, like told me about it. He was like, dude, there's this new app. There's these little videos. Like, I'm going to try to like do something with it. And like, he was like, you should do it too. And I thought it was so dumb. Like when I first saw it, I was like, this is like not going to go anywhere. And then I was working at a car dealership, and during the like I would wash the cars and like start the cars every morning. And in between those kind of things that I was doing, I would make these little videos just like, okay, I'm going to like screw around with it a little bit. And then I like got hooked on like making those videos, and then they started getting popular, and then shit kind of just like went out of
quickly,
control.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I discovered you. But I miss Vine. I miss Vine every day.
I actually never used Vine.
You're really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
I made a couple of Vines. I was in rehab.
Fire.
Yeah. I was in rehab in Malibu. And I was
Passages Malibu?
No, not Passages. No, I wasn't that nice.
I was an addict, and now I'm not.
Yeah, I wish it was Passages. But yeah, no, it was a rehab mount, and I was getting loaded the whole time I was in there
Whoa.
and making bonds. I think if you go on
I feel like
Oh,
we
we
need
better
to
go
dig
find
these
it.
up.
Go find 'em.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What happened?
Okay.
Do you know what? Like, is Vine? So once Vine got whatever was not existing anymore, did everything just kind of?
Yeah, I think they didn't run ads, which was like the
Right.
novelty of it and why everyone loved it. And then they just ran out of money because they weren't making any money. So,
Right.
yeah.
Nothing's ever been the same since. I feel like TikTok had similar vibes when it first started, but
Now it's like everything's like a shopping
Yeah.
link to a shopping thing. I don't know.
Were they monetizing you though to create content, or you were just doing it to do it?
It was just like out of the like love of doing it. Honestly, it was
Just
like
tight.
who can make the funniest video. It was literally just about that. It wasn't like money was. People were getting paid, like the bigger Viners, like Lele Pawns and like people like that were getting like brand deals for like a bunch of money, but I never saw any of that money. So it was more of just like a competitive, like, dude, I'm fucking funnier than you. Like, look at my fucking videos. Yeah. So we would just try to make the funniest video, not like, you know, the thought of monetizing and like, that wasn't even like a thing in my head. And I kind of honestly wish I could go back to that, because everything now is like, dude, you should like YouTube AdSense, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Kind of like sucks like the
Yeah.
fun out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your most viral Vine, you think?
Probably What the Fuck Is Up, Kyle?
Yeah, that one's
That's a good one.
That one went stupid. Yeah.
When'd you do the saw, dude?
When?
Yeah.
Oh, that was like it was like probably 3 or 4 years after I started like consistently making vines, and that just went, I mean, I had no intention on that doing.
And that just went around.
It just went so stupid. And yeah, it was literally just another video. I was like, I'm just going to make this blah, blah, blah. And then it just like, people try to make things viral, but like you have no control over that. Like the public decides what's funny and what's going to like catch on. So, I guess they loved it. And like, I remember waking up that morning and my friend was like, dude, we got 3 million views on this. And that was like the fucking most views. It was like hitting the fucking jackpot.
Yeah.
And is that the friend that you started making vines with?
No, this was a friend who I lived with when I moved here first. Yeah. So and I was like, oh my God, I like didn't know how to like process. I was like, what? And then everyone was like, saw, dude. And then
saw, dude.
Just like that. It was crazy.
Did you get sick of it after a little while?
I did, but then I like it went full circle, and now then I like loved it, and then I hated it, and now I'm just like zen with it. Like it's like just a thing. And I think it's cool. Like people, if it makes someone happy and makes someone laugh, it's like that's
fire.
That's I have to remind myself of that. Like I think a lot of content creators struggle with like, dude, I'm not getting paid enough, or like fucking, why is this guy making X amount of money? And I think the whole reason I got into this stuff, like in the first place, is just to like make people laugh and like make people, because I know what it's like to be depressed or have like a shitty day, and when you watch something funny, it's so good, and
it's like magic.
Yeah. So I just have to remind, because I've definitely gotten tripped up about like, damn, I should be making more money, or like, why is this dude popping off? Like, but it's not really. It's all ego, man.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, it is.
You're right. Damn, that's some deep recovered sobriety talk right there. Yeah. Okay, so let's backtrack. Why don't you like tell us about like your upbringing, and then get into how like maybe your drinking and smoking started.
Okay. Born in Hawaii.
Oh.
Which island?
Oahu. Oh. Dad was a naval officer. Born in Hawaii. Mom was a nurse, so I was born on the Navy base in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor. Lived there for like a couple months. Then we moved to Virginia, where my sister was born. Then we moved to Pittsburgh. So like, I was probably, I've spent my whole life in Pittsburgh. Born to great parents. Grew up in a Navy household, very strict. Make your bed, wake up, 2-minute showers. Feet on the deck. My dad would always say that. And that means like when we were sleeping, he'd be like, feet on the deck, and that just means put your feet on. Yeah, put your feet on the floor and get up and go get ready for school. Never like smoking and drinking was like never even a thought, because I knew my parents would just like that was
out of the question.
They were very strict, like in a good way, but not like overly. Like I could still hang out with people, but smoking and drinking was just not even in the question. Like I knew that they would never be cool with any of that stuff. So didn't really start smoking or drinking until I was like 18 or 19.
Wow.
I think I tried weed when I was 16, and my mom found out. My mom actually like CIA reverse engineered my fucking brain. She was like, she basically lied and told me that a neighbor had called her and told her that I was smoking weed, and I bought it and just confessed. And she just recently now told me that she was like, I just
made all that.
I just like was trying to get it out of you. Like no one called me, like no one told me. So I got grounded for like a whole year. I had to work at TJ Maxx. That was
brutal.
Fucking awesome. Yeah, no, it was whatever. But yeah, didn't really get into like smoking consistently or drinking consistently until I was like probably 19 or 20. But yeah, I grew up in a great household, great parents. My sister's awesome. Everyone was like, never really went through any like crazy, like all the like grandparents dying. Like that's probably the worst thing I went through. I was never like traumatized. But yeah, then I moved out here and shit just kind of like hit the fan because I'm, I like to do, I do like, what's it called? Medication assisted treatment, MAT. He calls me a sneaky Pete, which I totally agree with because I'll be like, yeah, everything's good. And then I can be kind of like a rascal. So when I was out here, I had no accountability and I was just smoking my ass off, drinking. I wasn't drinking to the point where I was like, this is fucked up, but I was drinking more than I had ever drank at home and smoking more than I ever drank. Like smoking every day was like a new thing for me. Bless you.
What brought you out here from Pittsburgh?
Vine. So like I was like, dude, I'm gonna go out to LA. I'm gonna make something of myself. Like this is it. I'm gonna fucking.
So yeah, you came for content creation. And did you like collab with like when you got out here? Did you have people out here when you moved out and they were like, yeah, come?
Yeah, we do like Vine meetups. We'd have like little parties with all the Viners and like order pizza. It was really
so tight.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How many followers did you have then?
I think I was like just probably like 500,000, and I was like, I'm gonna jump and see what happens. Came out here, kept making Vines, got to like 1 million, and then just from like compounding interest, I got to 2 million. And I really didn't even post anything between 1 and 2 million. It kind of just like
your content was just,
it was just generating like and then that's kind of where it shut down. 2016 after like the whole Dude thing happened, like that's when Vine kind of shut down. It was like 2016, 2017.
Was that scary for you, like being a Viner? Was it like, what the fuck?
It really
panicking.
I was like, fuck, like this app is really cool and it sucks that it's gone, but I was like, I don't want to be like, I knew I wanted to do stand up, like that was the end goal. So I was like, this is like, I can adapt. It's like I'll figure it out. But
yeah.
How long did you like know you wanted to be funny and like do comedy?
Definitely since I was like a kid, like for sure.
Did you always do things that were just like acting things out, or?
Kind of. I think it was more of a defense mechanism. I think I definitely got picked on as a kid just for like I had big lips. Kids made fun of me for that. And I am very sensitive. Like, I don't know if I have ADHD pretty bad. And I think now that I've been like, educating myself on that, like people with ADHD are very sensitive to the rejection. Like they call it rejection dysphoria. So like, I take something that a normal person or someone who doesn't really, have this kind of like sensitivity, very personally. So if someone was like, hey, Nick, like you're dumb, I'd be like it would like ruin my whole shit. Like it felt like my world was ending. It's very powerful feeling. So I think just out of necessity, just started like being funny and trying to deflect some of that. And like, humor was always like a very good coping mechanism.
Right.
But yeah, I think it was like a survival thing. I was never like the kid in like the school play or like, I was just like Nick, the fucking dude. I think comedy and humor was just my way to like deal with
life,
some shit. Yeah.
Got it. All right, so you come out here. Vine shuts down. Fuck.
Pounding on the doors of Vine. Open up.
Let me back in.
Yeah. And yeah, that's when everything kind of like went. When Dude happened, I actually remember it like so vividly. Dude happened, and I remember we went to Chicago because the dude I was living with at the time was a DJ. So we went to Chicago. Dude was like at its peak. It was fucking insane. Like, it was like, yeah, it was just wild. Went to Chicago, and we met up with Skrillex while we were there. And we had dinner with Skrillex, and Skrillex was like, do you guys want to come to Miami with me on my fucking jet? And we were like, dude, fuck yeah. So we fly to Miami on his jet. We're at one of those Miami clubs. I forget what, Excess or one of them. Like everyone recognized us. Like it went fucking crazy. I was like drinking. And this is when I realized that my drinking was like
a problem?
Not yet. I wasn't. I was
like,
just like, this is a little too much. Like, I remember someone pouring like a shitload of Grey Goose in my mouth, and I was like, I fucking love this, dude. Like, just the whole like high of being recognized, and then like no one's saying no. People are like, weed, fucking whatever you want. Like, so I think I can pinpoint dude as the fucking like
The culprit.
Yeah, which is I mean, I'm thankful for all this shit. Like, looking back, I'm like, yeah, it couldn't have happened. It happened the way it happened, but that trip specifically was like the chasing the dragon, like on a fucking private jet with Skrillex. Yeah. Dude, I loved Skrillex. I thought he's like the nicest dude ever. Then we went to Vegas. He flew us to Vegas, and same thing, just like partying. People knew who I was, drinking. I think no one's saying no, and me like associating that with like, that's when everything kind of just like the wires in my brain.
Right. That was the high that got made.
Yeah. Like, I can do, like, no one's going to fucking say no to me. Like, I can fucking drink as much as I want. I could smoke whatever I want. Like, I'm invincible. I'm cool. Yeah.
You weren't experimenting like with other things?
I mean, I would do coke like every once in a while. I never really was like a coke, like super into coke. Like, if it was around, I'd do it to like party more. But my main thing was definitely drinking and weed for sure. But no, I've never done like opiates. I was never into that. I was never into like
What was the darkest moment like of your addiction that made you realize like, oh, actually I don't want to do this anymore at all?
Probably fucking actually, like, so fast forward to like a couple months ago. Like, this is like in May. Still drinking a lot. I had tried, I went to an outpatient program in Pittsburgh. Did that for like a month, and that went okay. Just relapsing all the time. Like, I'd go like a week and then I'd fucking relapse. I'd go like 2 weeks and then I'd relapse. So it was like very consistently relapsing. And I'm like a taller, like bigger dude. So I could drink a lot, and I fucking like to drink a lot. So I would like, going to like the local bar, like lying, telling my parents like, oh, I'm going to work out. Like, I lived with my parents at the time, and yeah, like just lying, like, and then all of that just fuels more use. Right. Like, I'm going to drink and try to like, cause I know deep down that what I'm doing is fucked up, and it's shitty to be lying to people that you love, and just being like the alcohol, like the village alcoholic, dude. Like that is not a cool title to
carry.
Yeah. And I was drunk driving a lot. Like, that was probably the worst thing that I did. I'm like really fucking ashamed to admit it, but I definitely like would get loaded and then just drive home. Like, my parents, I scared the fuck out of my parents. Like, they would take my keys away.
So they knew, like, they recognized that.
Oh, they could tell immediately if
when did they realize that you had a project? Did you talk to them
like
about it?
Years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So this has all been like, it boiled over like in the springtime, but it's been a probably 4-year journey of struggling. Like, when I lived in Santa Monica by myself, and that's when everything kind of like got to the like, oh, like, this is really fucked up. Like, the dude shit, like, that was like, okay, this is like, let's keep an eye on this. Like, it's not like insane.
It was just starting. Yeah.
Right.
Sadu was like just starting. You're with Skrillex. Like, everything's
party
cool.
vibes.
Like, I'm just part of the crew.
And then when I moved by myself, I had like, not a little bit accountability, like zero. Like, I could do whatever I wanted. So that was like when shit got really bad. I was waking up. I lived right next to the liquor store. Yeah. So I'd wake up. I remember I would be at Ralph's at 6 a.m. when they were unlocking the store, like buying wine, like 2 bottles of wine.
At the time, did you have like brand deals at the time? Or
yeah. So this like burnt through all my money. Like, all my money I would make, I drank it all away, smoked it all. I was like ordering like weed off the weed delivery guy. Would be at my house pretty much every fucking day. And then it was so fucked up because I'd be like, I'm done, man. I'm fucking done. I'd throw all the weed away, and then that same day, I'd buy more.
I've been there.
But yeah, I've been there.
I know that well.
But it, living alone definitely was like the I don't know. That was like the eye of the storm.
Right.
Because I was like,
what did a day in the life look like back then?
So
what were you doing? What platforms were you on? What were you like?
On Instagram mostly, a little bit of YouTube, trying to collab with people, doing like the Real Bros thing. Cameo was a lifesaver.
Got it.
So I'd do a ton of Cameo videos and just drink all that money away.
Damn.
Stand up, I made a pretty good. I had like 80 grand that I made off of like one tour that I saved, and that was the most money I've ever saved in my life. And I was like really proud of myself.
Yeah.
And this is when I did like 3 months sober. I was still smoking, but I wasn't drinking, and I saved all that money. And then I was like, I deserve a beer. Like, I can have one. I can fucking have one, dude.
God
like,
damn
you're
it,
good.
man.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
All of it gone within like 2 months, like just burnt through it. But yeah, a day in the life would be wake up at like 4 a.m. because I was like
Jonesing.
hungover.
Yeah.
Well, just like the hangover, like you can't sleep, like wake up, I would always check my eyes to see if they were yellow. Fucking, sometimes they would be a little yellow. And I would freak out, and then I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, and then I would just drink more because I'm like, fuck it.
Because
like,
you're freaking out,
yeah, because
stressed
I was freaking
out.
out, like calling. My sister's a doctor. I'd be like, do I look okay? Like, does this look weird?
Sister's tripped out.
Yeah. And she'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. I think it's just dry here or something. Just lie to her.
It's the California weather. Yeah.
Wait till 6. So, like, wake up at like 4 just because I'm hungover, and I'm like, you get that like writhe. You're like writhing in bed. You can't like really sleep well. Smoke. I watched Step Brothers every day during COVID when I was getting shit faced. Because I was like, these guys are such losers, and I feel better about myself if I'm watching it. So I would watch Step Brothers smoke. Then I would
Just like on repeat.
Yeah. Drive up to Vaughn's at 6 a.m., get 2 bottles of wine, come home, drink both, pass out. And then at like noon, I would walk to the liquor store, get usually Tito's, get like a 5th of Tito's and some beers. And I live by the beach, so I was always like, dude, it's fucking like beach party, like literally every day. There was
like
not
by yourself, or was there always friends?
By
so
myself.
Just by yourself.
I would definitely an
Party of
isolation
one.
drinker.
Yeah.
I swear to God, like I'm not fucking kidding. Literally every day there was not one day of COVID that I wasn't
Drinking.
passed out drunk. Like every fucking day. Like seriously, like maybe there was literally one day that I didn't. But it was like every day that was my routine. Wake up, get fucking shit faced, smoke weed, pass out, wake up, just on repeat. Like to the point where I basically ran out of money, and I was like, I can't. Just a little glimpse of like logical thinking. I was like, this is not sustainable. I can't be out here anymore. Like this is, I'm going to die. I'm going to straight up just die. So moved back home, packed up all my shit, moved back home. Was sober for like a month. Drinking on and off, smoking on and off. And then I went 10 months without drinking, which was a long time, but I was still smoking.
Yeah.
So like Cali sober or whatever.
Right.
I mean, now I don't consider that sober. But then fucking same thing. Like told myself I can handle having 2 beers. Shit hit the fan again. Girlfriends. I've lost girlfriends. That was always tough. Just because of drinking. And I was always like, maybe it just didn't work out, but it was like, that's the fucking reason why.
Intoxicated.
Yeah. It was unavailable.
Right.
Also smoking, like you're stoned. You're not fucking there either. It's like, you're just as unavailable. And I think I was like, no, I can smoke.
Was there a piece of all of that, like smoking and drinking, that you felt was tied to like your creativity? And
Definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely got sold the lie of like, you're way more creative when you're stoned.
Right.
Or like your inhibitions are gone when you're drinking, so you can
Do more.
really say what you want to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Really, it just hinders all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Suppresses all that.
all
you know?
the shit I've made fucked up is ass. Like I go back and I'll look at all the music I've made and shit, and like when granted, like there was some ideas that I thought of when I was stoned that were like, okay, that's pretty funny, but I could have had that idea sober. Yeah. But definitely drinking and smoking. I'll look back at projects that I have worked on, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, literally, just like one note, like repeated. And when you're fucked up, you're like, dude, this is like gonna change music, dude. And then you listen to it, and you're like, wow, this is really bad. This is awful.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's such a common thing. I've helped so many people that are like creative in some way, some sort of, artistic talent that, have gotten sober. And one of the big things that is a hindrance from getting sober is they're like, I'm just not going to be able to access this if I'm not using XYZ. Right. And it's been incredible to watch those people, get sober and then push through that, like, fear, right? Like, can I do this sober? And then they're so much better.
Totally. Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's like you're just able to access everything instead of like a couple things. And then like, it's honestly like gambling. Like, you might fucking come up with a good idea when you're fucked up. You probably won't. You're probably just going to get fucked up and not. And I mean, the projects that I did make, like, that was like a very small, more than half the time, you just get fucked up and you're like, I don't want to work on music right now. Yeah, I'm just going to order sugarfish and smoke a shitload and then drink till I fucking pass out. I'm like, so you're not even being creative. Like, this fantasy that you're going to be like, Picasso or something, like, it doesn't ever happen.
Right.
At least for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
You can create a bunch of shit high on meth, though.
Oh, I bet.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Did you ever create anything on meth?
Dude, I would draw for hours.
Oh, really?
Hours.
That's awesome.
Hours.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's awesome.
I want to see some of that.
Yeah. I'll try to find some
meth drawings.
Yeah.
Was it like the shrooms and everything that you drew on the board?
Shit. I would just doodle for hours, and I'd create some cool shit. Yeah.
When I was like in high school, man, I'd take a bunch of Xanax, and Xanax was always like time travel. I had no idea what I was gonna do.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would like prep my mind. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna draw and I'm gonna make all this cool shit. So that when I wake up, like in 2 days from now, I'm gonna see what I did.
My portfolio.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be like shocked by it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just like a line.
It was nothing, dude. It started out by being something kind of cool, and then it just got sloppy as shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I clearly stopped, and then there was fucking always ice cream everywhere.
I was gonna say there was like some drool marks on the page or
Yeah.
something. Like,
Ice
Probably.
cream, dude. Like ice cream in my hands, like in my sheets, on my desk. You know what I mean? This shit is just.
Did you have
disaster.
like random items that you stole? Would you go
of
out and like go?
course. Yeah. We'd go to the TO Mall.
What is that?
Thousand Oaks Mall, right down the street.
Steal some Spencer's gifts.
Dude, I'd steal chocolate.
Oh, God. That's awesome.
Like nothing
Your
great.
inner fat kid was coming out so hard in your Xanny blackouts.
He's normally in a cage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And then you
Set
just
him
let
free.
release your inhibitions, and then it was just like,
I literally just throw him the keys. Xanax is like, oh, here you go, dude.
Just go.
You know
So
what I mean?
low key, you are a fat kid at heart, for real.
Oh no, I'm a big fat kid.
I love that.
Massive. It's
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Ice cream and chocolate.
I'm the same way. I love sweets.
Dude.
Yeah.
And you give me some Xanax and some weed. And I'm like, turn on some
Sweets.
Family Guy and just like,
Boom.
boom, just mash.
Laugh your ass off.
Yeah. And then wake up
So
3 days
good.
later and I'm like, my car's gone. There's chocolate everywhere. And I'm
Fuck.
like, money's all missing. I think all my friends stole my shit.
Did you take it, man?
Yeah.
I know you did. Just
I know
fucking
you
tell the
had
truth.
it.
I just take benzos and get angry.
Do you
Do
get
you?
angry?
Oh my god, have you never met somebody like that?
What?
Dude, just fucking angry, blacked out, angry.
That's like
Aggressive.
Hunter's inner
Yeah.
child.
I was probably mixing other shit in with
Yeah,
it.
there's probably got to be something. There's something a little
Some
more.
heroin in there.
There's something a little more going
Yeah.
on in that mix there, for sure. Yeah.
Why do you think so many comedians commit suicide?
I think it's like that was a nuke of a question, by the way.
It was a nuke.
Just like the sad clown, like as a comedian, you're constantly observing and looking at the world. And I think there's a point where you figure out what the world is from what the world is. I don't know if that's like the shit's fucked up and that's reality. Like the fucking world is like a fucked up place. There's like death, injustice, hunger, famine, everything. And I think comedians, the reason why they're so funny is because there is a level of severe sadness that just like getting picked on as a kid, like that. Some people just can't. Some people have just an unbearable amount of pain that no matter how funny they are and how much they joke about it, deep down there's some fucking demons that are like seriously at play. And like you can go up there and talk about shit and make people laugh, but at the end of the fucking night, you're in that hotel room by yourself.
Right.
And I mean, unless you're like going out and partying or you have like people come back to you or whatever, but there's a serious the duality of being on stage, being the center of attention, everyone loves you, making everyone laugh, haha, and then going back to the hotel room alone. It's very I don't know, and I think that really fucks with people's head, especially like the greats, Chris Farley, all these people who are like seriously fucking comedic monsters. Like Chris Farley was doing a ton of cocaine and like partying his ass off, and like I don't know.
It's almost like comedy too is so directly tied to like the fucked upness of the world too, like what you were saying. Like I feel like so much comedy comes out of that.
Yeah.
Like that's what I find to be the most funny.
Yeah.
Right? Like I see those things, they're like so tied.
Yeah.
Right? And then I think like you were saying, the peaks between being on stage, making everyone laugh.
Yeah.
Being like the center of attention, like it's kind of like a peak high.
Mm-hmm.
And then going all the way to the low real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think it's just, I don't know. That's a good question. There's definitely a common denominator. I don't know what the common denominator is. I think I kind of do. I know that it's definitely rooted in like depression, self-esteem. I think comedy is a great weapon against, I don't feel good about myself, I'm gonna fucking joke about it, and But I think deep down, I mean, I've had therapists and I've talked about all this shit. Like I think deep down, there's a lot of shit that I've definitely made peace with a lot. I made a ton of progress as far as like my own mental health, and like especially just not drinking and smoking has helped so much. But there's shit that you can't let go of, that no amount of joking about it is gonna fucking, like childhood shit, being like the outcast. I mean, I was a horrible student. I never fit in. Everyone could focus and fucking get their shit done. I could never do that. I always felt like such a fucking idiot. And I think I really internalized that because, it was like, oh, Nick, we're all going to college. I didn't go to college. I think I graduated with like a 1.4 GPA. Like I fucking sucked at school. And I always just like my sister's a doctor. Like she could take notes for hours, like just index cards, like 8 hours a day. She would sit there, and I'm always like, what the fuck did she get that I didn't get? Like I would really take it personally. And I think, I joke about that, but that was definitely a major hurdle for me to just like get over.
Right.
Because you want to, like, as a human, you want to fit in. Like, we are like pack animals, kind of.
Totally.
And you want to be included, and you don't want to be looked at as the fucking dumb, you know, like, no, Nick's funny, but he's like fucking, I mean, look at his grades, like D's, F's, like, I don't know. And I, as a kid, I think you internalize all that. I think that was really hard for me to just be like, you're not an idiot, you're just this school thing.
Yeah. I also just think that, like, I don't know, man, I think school, I was the same way. I mean, I got kicked out of 2 different high schools. I could not do homework, right? Like, I could not take notes. But I also very ADHD, you know, and super sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, super, super sensitive. And I think the school system's just not always set up for everybody. You know what I mean?
No, it's definitely not.
My brother and sister did phenomenally well.
Yeah.
3 years younger, they're twins. Like, they got good grades, went to college, had careers.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
They
Like,
saw you and was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Like, or just getting DUIs, crashing cars, and just like, but I couldn't sit still like
Yeah,
that.
neither could I.
I couldn't.
Always getting kicked out of class, always getting in trouble, and yeah, and just internalizing being like the outcast. Like, I'm a bad kid. Like, I think I really believed I was like just like a fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then you're like, okay, well, if I'm this, and then comedy became
a thing.
that place where you could fit in, make people laugh, get the attention.
Got popular on Vine, and I was like, oh my God, people are fucking with Nick, dude. It's finally happening. Like, and I totally took advantage of that. And I think it almost killed me. Like, just the whole partying, trying to fit in, drinking, like, yeah, it was a fucking mess is what it was. It was a fucking mess.
Yeah. Well, I identify with it, man. I feel like both you guys could probably identify with that too, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That feeling of not fitting in and like,
Yeah,
you know?
100%. And I think humor because it's like a defense mechanism, and if it starts out as that, I know for me, I have a really hard time being vulnerable without deflecting with humor, and I feel like people also will not take that as seriously sometimes if you're like really actually hurting or like something is going on, at least for me. Do you feel like there's pressure for you to always be funny? Like, do you feel like you have a space or had a space at that time to be able to be vulnerable and serious, or like?
I think there was definitely a pressure to be on. And there might still be, I don't know, but I honestly, like, I think we were talking about last night, like, I could either be dead right now or fucking in jail or like have killed someone. So that is my rock of gratitude. And I'm like, dude, I don't fucking care if someone wants me to be on. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right.
And if they don't like me, like, fucking whatever. Like, I'm happy to be here right now. Like, I'm alive. I'm not drunk. I'm not fucking in prison or in fucking the ground. So, like, it honestly, sobriety, I know it sounds so cheesy, but like, it is the craziest fucking thing that's ever like happened.
I'm so proud of you. Dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's like, I thought I would quit drinking. I was like, I'm going to get a hang of it. I never thought I would quit smoking weed. But like at the darkest points of it, I was like, this is just the way it is. Like, you're never going to beat this. You're going to fucking get cirrhosis and you're going to die. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. Your parents are going to bury you. You're going to have a fucking, like, I would wake up every day like my eyes are, like, I've told myself like my eyes are yellow. Like, it's like you're dying.
Yeah.
And
would you go through physical withdrawals? Like, were you going through?
Yeah.
This
last time I didn't, just because, I mean, I was still drinking, but the relapse was like, I was getting better, but like, they were definitely not as frequent. But when I was like living here, I was definitely like shakes, couldn't keep anything down. Fucking a little bit of yellow in like the corner of my eyes. My pee was always, not always, but the one time I got really fucking scared, my pee was like orange.
Dark.
Yeah. I was like, this is fucked up.
Dehydrated.
Like, this is really bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is bad. But yeah, definitely physical withdrawal, shaking. Like, I remember I went to Mexico with my girlfriend and I was trying to fill out the like declaration.
thing,
I couldn't even fucking write my name because I was shaking so bad. So yeah.
Did you ever go to detox back then, or like?
So the last time before I got sober, I did do a detox. It's actually, that's the first time. That's the first time I've ever done inpatient recovery. Leading up to that, I was just drinking, got shit-faced, drove home. My dad took my keys. I was like, fuck it, I'm already drunk. So I walked to the bar, kept drinking, ordered Mexican food to the bar, took it, went out back by the trash and ate I was like Frank Gallagher, like seriously.
Yeah.
Ate all the Mexican food and then started walking home, and the cops rolled up on me and they were like, we got a call that someone fell over and like bumped their head. And they could tell I was fucking shit-faced. And I was like, nah, dude, I'm just walking home. And they're like, well, we can't let you walk home. Like, you're clearly... And thank God it was like an older cop, like a seasoned, didn't make a big deal about it.
Just being cool.
Like totally could have busted me for public intoxication. But he was like, just call whoever you live, call your roommate to come pick you up. And I was like, I live with my mom. So my mom had to come pick me up. It was so embarrassing. But
God.
I was still drunk and I was like, fuck, this is like rock star shit, dude. I'm getting like...
How did mom react?
The fucking craziest thing that I tell that is so heartbreaking to hear from other people, when they stop reacting, that's how you know you're fucking...
Yeah.
It's like...
They've kind of accepted.
It's not like if they're not shocked. Like someone very close to me just recently relapsed and he was like, yeah, he told his girl and he was like, yeah, she reacted way better than I thought she would. And I was like, yikes, dude, she's thinking of an exit plan. Is what is happening.
She's accepted it.
That's that's honestly worse than her freaking out. So car ride home, my mom was like, you can't do this anymore. So you can either move out or go to rehab. Like, those are your two options. And I was like, fuck, okay. So the next day I called the rehab place, went there, got admitted. I was definitely like, I'm not fucking dude. Like I was totally like, I'm going to go. Yeah. And then I would think about it and then I'm like, I'm not fucking going. But I just bit the bullet and went. It was really scary. I was really fucking scared. I did not know what to expect. Went to the rehab center. Went upstairs, got my room. Fucking didn't have a roommate for a couple hours. Then I got my roommate. And my roommate was using fentanyl. And he managed to smuggle some fentanyl into the rehab facility. So... during the time, like the first couple of days at the rehab facility, he was using in our bathroom, and that scared the shit out of me.
And you knew he was in there using?
Yeah, he was like, he was totally transparent about it. He was like, dude, I fucking got like 10 bags of fentanyl. He snuck it in his deodorant. So he was using, like giving other people, he was dosing up the other addicts who were there.
Damn.
Which I understand that, like, you're dealing with addicts, like, they're fucking, like...
Yeah, they're going to do whatever
Black Ops operatives. Like, they will figure it the fuck
That's
out.
really good.
If they want their shit, they'll figure it out.
That's right.
It's like some
Journeys, yeah.
Like, seriously.
Rachel, you got lit in a rehab, didn't you?
I did, but they gave me my heroin back to me by accident.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We talked
You don't
about
remember
this.
that?
Yeah, because they search your stuff. But
They searched my stuff, and because I'm from New York, the heroin looks different. It's in like wax paper baggies. In Texas, they have like tar, and it's like points, and it's a different system. And when I was in detox was separate from residential, so they gave you your like stuff back. Like, so basically, they took your luggage. They gave you your clothes. They gave you your stuff. They took your luggage. And then they gave it back to you the night before you were supposed to go to residential,
Yeah.
right? So I am through my sub-taper, right? I'm like 2-3 days through my sub-taper. I'm feeling good. I'm about to go to like rehab, not detox.
Yeah, res.
And they gave me my stuff back to me. And in a Ziploc, they put one baggie of heroin because they're like wax stamps. And they usually have like a cool little like design
Logo,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
on them. They must have thought it was a piece of paper. They literally put it in a Ziploc and gave it back to me. And I immediately did it. Like, I just like, it was
why
right
not?
there. I was like, and I felt like shit. I didn't get high at all. Like, it was terrible. I was like, I told on myself in the morning. I didn't sleep at all that night. It set my withdrawals back. So I was so fucking sick. Yeah, it was, but yeah, they gave me my.
That's that's similar to what happened in this situation. Is he brought 2 sticks of deodorant and they confiscated the one with the fentanyl in it. And he asked for it back. They're like, "Why do you need 2 sticks of deodorant?" He pointed at me. He was like, he forgot his. They gave him the fucking deodorant back. He comes into the room, undoes it, takes the deodorant out of the stick, and there's his shit.
Damn.
And he just started going.
And you were just riding with it.
I was just like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, I was watching Cops a lot, so I was just. We had like vending. We had a vending machine bracelet. Like, I was just eating like cinnamon buns and I was trying to just like not get involved. And then I checked myself out on the 7th. So I completed the detox, but they wanted me to stay the full 30 days. And I was like, dude, I do not want to be in this with this dude. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to get mixed up. Like, he had just come from jail. So I'm like, I don't want to get mixed up in some shit and like have to like confess some shit and like
You're like, just
potentially
get me
get like I'm not. This is not where I need to be right now. Like I've seen enough. It was like Scared Straight. Like seeing that was like fucked up, obviously, but in a way, it was actually like what needed to happen. Like I needed to see where.
Like, this is where my life is.
This is where addiction is gonna.
Yeah.
Like no family, no fucking like
Right.
So got out of there. I actually, upon my like exit physical or whatever, I told the nurse, I was like, "Do you guys prescribe Antabuse?" She was like, "Not really, we don't, but like why?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, this is like I've tried everything, so I'm like, I just like, can you give me Antabuse? Because I'm like out of options now." She was like, "Okay, we can write you a script." So I got the Antabuse, and that day, like that's the last time I've drank.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, sober. My mom always says better living through pharmaceuticals, and I totally believe that now because I haven't drank at all. Literally just fear of what would happen if I drank on this medication.
Right.
So
Are your parents proud of you today?
yeah, definitely. They definitely. I think I put them through fucking hell, dude. Like I can't even imagine what it's like to have a kid. First of all, just have a kid, the level of stress and being like, is he going to fall and scrape his knee or fucking, is he going to get picked on? But then having a kid who is voluntarily drinking and driving, fucking smoking,
slowly killing
whatever.
themselves, yeah.
Like that's, I can't even like begin
I hope none
to.
of us ever have to experience that ever, because I think the same when I think about like the shit that my parents had to deal with. I'm like,
I'm sending them straight to Oak Forest.
Yeah,
nice
for
plug.
sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
I'd like to think. I mean, I think they are. I think every time I bring them that chip,
Next
and
month. Yeah.
I drug test. I bought a bunch of drug tests, and I like anytime they're like, I'm like,
Questioning.
I'll pee right now. Like you have nothing to worry about. So like rebuilding that trust, I think is huge.
That's awesome.
And my dad actually, it kind of pissed me off at first, but then I was like, I understand why he's skeptical, because I went in and peed and he's like, well, you could have had like some pee stashed in the bathroom. And I was like, fuck, dude, like you don't fucking trust me. And then I was like, wait, like he's totally right. Like I wouldn't trust me. So I like basically peed in front of him, and just now it's just like, rebuilding all those
Right.
bridges that I fucking destroyed.
I think just having the humility to do that instead of being like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
coming from a defensive spot is such growth, because I remember there were so many times where I would get sober and immediately I'm like 3 days clean, right? And I want everything to be
Yeah,
back to normal.
exactly.
Like I hadn't destroyed their app, like absolutely destroyed their lives, and they don't have, I'm like, I'm better now. You can trust me. And I would always relapse. So I think having that humility and being like, okay, like, yeah, it's fucking a little bit annoying, but it's like my doing the reason that this is going on. I think that's some heavy growth, my boy. Yeah,
sure. My mom would always be like, every time I see you leave in that truck, like I'm still, it's definitely gotten.
It takes time.
Yeah, but it's like rightfully so. I mean, if your son's coming home fucking stumbling into the house after driving a car after like I was saying, like I wasn't drinking like a couple beers. Like I've gotten cut off at the airport. Like I would go to flights for shows. My order was double Tito's and an IPA, and I would drink 3 rounds of that, and then I'd get on the plane. So I was drinking 6 shots and 3 beers, 3 like 8% beers. To the point where I got cut off in Pittsburgh. I got cut off at LAX. So I was like getting shit ass hammered. And like a walking blackout. Like it was like a walking blackout. Like I was still able to like do shit, but I was fucking gone. And yeah, like seeing that as a parent, I don't know. So like at this point, I'm like, anything you guys need to trust me again, or like whatever, I'm not hiding anything. I'm just like, I will do whatever. I'll pee as much as you want me to. I'll fucking, like every morning I take my medication. I show my mom, like it's a little white pill to dissolve from. I show her, she's like, okay. And then I fucking take it right in front of her. Like, or if she's asleep, I'll show my dad. So it's like whatever they need.
Systems of accountability.
Totally.
Building trust, consistency, day by day.
Yeah, because I nuked all of that. Like for real. Flaky, not showing up, lying. Hey, where are you? Oh, I'm at the gym. I was at the fucking bar.
Yeah, right.
What's this charge here? Why'd you take out $100 for alcohol, weed?
I feel like even 7.5 years later, if I'm like stressed or if I'm upset about something, my mom kind of freaks out. You know what I mean? Like if my mom knows I'm going
There's for real like PTSD that they will maybe never recover from because like that's their kid, dude. Like their baby. It's just gnarly. But day by day, dude. My higher power.
That's right.
What would you say to somebody else that has like a big following or like a public presence that's like struggling with addiction, but is like scared to like talk about it or like overcome it or reach out to people?
That's a great question. I think the stigma of being considered an addict, or like for so long I was like, I know I have this problem. I'm fucking an alcoholic for real, and I'm an addict, but I'm just going to deal with it in private. Like I'm never going to let anyone know that. And like, this is just like my personal life. It always comes to light. It's going to fucking come out at some point. You're going to fucking get in a car crash or some, hopefully that doesn't happen. But the hardest thing to do is look in the mirror and just be fucking brutally honest. And it's like, anyone who's struggling, I think it's like really fucking hard to admit. And you want to, like, at least for me, I was like, I'm good. Like I'm perfect. I don't have anything wrong with me. There's nothing wrong, but like, this is life. And this isn't like, you fucked up your haircut. Like your hair is going to grow back. This is like the difference between living and not living, or hurting someone, getting into I've heard so many stories at meetings of like people who've lost, like, thankfully I'm still relatively young, and I don't have a wife. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have there's people who have lost fucking everything. And it's like, that's a promise. That's not like it might happen.
No,
yeah.
It's
like
happen.
You will lose everything, dude. So it's like, I don't know. Anyone who's struggling, I think being honest is like the first step. And then just, you realize it's not as scary. Like even going to rehab, I was fucking petrified. And then I went there and I'm like, first of all, this is where I need to be. And yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's definitely like, that's a really good question. It's a tough question to answer. But I think, and then the whole like reaching out thing, like everyone's always like, dude, you can call me. And it's like, dude, the last thing I want to do is call you when I want to fucking drink. Like, you're going to tell me not to drink. Why would I?
Yeah, for sure.
Why would I want to consult someone who's going to tell me not to do what I want to do?
That's so funny. I agree with that so much when people say that.
Yeah.
So like, I'm definitely not calling somebody.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I want to get loaded.
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening.
It's like, once I have that idea in my head, it's like, this is what is going to happen. It's not a matter of being talked out of it.
I think it's more about like I think picking up the phone and talking to people is more about like the different little things that come up way before I want to drink. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm upset about something.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean? Like, something's got me feeling a little insecure that day, or like whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking to people about.
Yeah.
Right? Because when I'm consistently talking to people about those things.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't drink.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if I get to the place where I'm like convincing myself that I need to have one beer, that I deserve it, that it's all right.
Just going to take the edge off, man. Just one.
Yeah.
I'm fucked.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm fucked.
It's over.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think it's like those little things, like you were talking about, like your dad being like, "Oh, is there fake pee hidden?" And you're like pissed.
He's like, they're like paranoid, and like that's my fault. It's not because he is like being an asshole. It's because I've
a lot of
pushed
people
them
can't
to the
see
point.
that though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They'll get in that victim mentality. And I know for me, when I was in those situations, when I was like, my brain was still very sick, I would be like, well, I'm getting accused anyway, so I might as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I would go fuck everything up because my poor parents were literally just trying to like hold me accountable.
They're like a kidnapped person who's been in like a fucking prison camp. Like they fucking have been traumatized.
Yeah.
Like that. You know, my parents have definitely like fought about it and been like, you know, you weren't here when you didn't have to deal with what I saw. And like, there's just so much like hurt involved that I don't think you really realize how much damage you're doing. And then you want to forget it really fast.
Right.
But you fucked shit up, dude. Like the Tasmanian devil, like cyclone fucked shit up. And it's like, you have to eat that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just face it and be like, I'm the problem. You got to stop running.
For sure.
Just be like, fuck, like, yeah, there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
And that's hard, but it's necessary. Yeah. And I think everyone gets there at some point. Some people never do, unfortunately. Like, there's a lot of people in my family who are like alcoholics, I think, who will never admit it.
Right.
And that's neither here nor there. I mean, it's hard to watch as like a family member, but some people just can't. What's that thing they say at meetings?
Will not see this way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're incapable of
being honest with themselves.
Yeah, truly honest.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Yeah. No, it is real.
But yeah. A quote that I love that I heard one of the old timers say is, I know I have another drunk in me. I don't know if I have another recovery in me.
For sure.
Which is like, I was like,
sayings.
fuck, that's so true, dude. Like, I know I can go get shit-faced again. I don't know if I could
make it back.
do this again, right?
Yeah.
Well, my thing is more like, when did it switch for you? Because I feel like everybody I talk to, like, I first started smoking weed and I had the greatest time. Mm-hmm. And then at a certain point, it like flipped on me.
Well, you know what it was? Weed used to be so shit back in the day. It was garbage.
Do you think that's what it is?
And it was so weak. And then at some point it got so
Too
strong that it's like, now weed now compared to like shitty fucking
that's true.
seedy
Like
Mexican butt
what my
weed
parents
back in the day.
smoked.
Like,
When I was in high school, we got like OG Kush and like Northern Lights,
It
and
was
like we got the
different,
good
though.
shit though.
it was still like, and now it has like chemicals. And all
But
kinds
however,
of
I
shit.
got sober when I was 21. That was before like modern day like dabs or any of that. You know what I mean? And for me, it switched. You know what I mean? I was still smoking the same weed, dude. I was smoking.
Do you think it was just the period of sobriety, and then you started again, and then it just your body was
because it was even
on a
before I
tea
ever got sober.
Tea break.
A little tea
A little
break.
tea break.
Yeah, and then it was just too much. I think that's how it happened for me. But I want to hear your. So, did you like when you first started smoking? Did you enjoy it, or were you scared from the jump?
I was scared from the jump. I
Okay.
think just being, like I don't think there's. Well, that's when the alcohol came in, because when I would drink, I
was
could
different.
smoke and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
but when I was
opposite for
just
me.
smoking, like I fucking was always afraid and paranoid, and like it was just, you know.
Mixing weed and alcohol whenever I was younger, I would be like so sick.
Me too. I'd puke.
Oh my god,
I love that was my
time.
that was my
was-
shit. Was like smoking a backwood and fucking drinking
Yeah.
a shitload of alcohol. Like that was my fucking whatever that combination.
That was your get down.
Whatever drug that combination is. That's what my thing was.
That was it for me. I started smoking and I loved just smoking weed. Weed was like the first thing I ever really like did. And when I did it, I loved it and I could act normal, you know, I was also very, very young. So I just don't think my frontal lobe, like I just was
Right.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think as my brain progressed, or I don't know what happened, but something switched along the lines where I was like, I need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like I'm unwell. Like I would be really weird around people. I would feel like everyone's watching me. I'd feel like I can't breathe. I think I've talked about this before. I used to think like I would go on a blunt ride with my friends, right? And I would be in the back and I would think that if I didn't, as soon as I got high, I didn't want to be high anymore. And I was like, I
Right.
fucking
yeah,
hate
what was
this.
the thing you
Please
did?
help. I used to sit there and I really thought, well, first of all, I thought if you drank milk, I would drink a lot of milk because someone told me if you drink a lot of milk, you won't be high anymore. I would do that.
right.
I also would sit
Wait,
in
that
the back of
works.
the car.
That
Does
actually-
it work?
No. That's the tried and true fucking antidote.
Nick's like, I did that
So
all the
much
time.
milk.
I drank so much
Dude,
milk.
I'm lactose intolerant, and I literally, that was not good. Okay, anyways,
So you were just high and shit in your pants.
shit in my pants.
Can we stop and get some milk?
Yeah, no, milk. I've done that numerous times, but I would also sit in the back. So, like, on these blunt rides, I would sit in the back. I would get super fucking weird. I would be like, I am not okay. And so I would, like, something in my brain told me if I just, like, breathe, if I just, like, I could breathe, like, blow the high out of my body. So I would sit in the back and, like, cover my face and, like, you know, in
Breathe.
the corner. And I'd be like, you know, like I was so fucking weird. I just got
Yeah.
weird. And then I was like, okay, now I just can't. Maybe if I smoke by myself, you know, maybe it's the people that are making me weird, you know? And then I would smoke at home and it would be
even more
even
scary.
more fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like I felt like like I'm an actual crackhead, but I felt more of a
Like a
crackhead when I
crackhead,
was
smoking
smoking
weed.
weed. And I could not understand it. And still to this day, like I was very fearful and anxious and just unwell.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. But then at the same time, like, I think it's just personal. I think it
Yeah.
literally is just chemistry. Like, I know people who smoke backwoods
Are totally fine.
and are lighting the new backwood with the one they were
Mm-hmm.
in. They're like
yeah.
smoking like a fuckload of weed. Like,
Yeah.
Wiz Khalifa, Ty Dolla $ign level, like smoking an ounce a day and like unfazed, still paying all their bills, making sure everything happens, like
Doing
never,
well.
literally never tripping out, smoking like all the like crazy like gelato, like the shit that the MIT kids are fucking engineering, like the really, really strong and just never like tripping out, like.
Yeah, I always wonder what it is.
It's just,
like,
I
what?
think it's just a personal, like, some people just don't
Yeah.
don't
react
mess
that
with
way.
it. I feel
Yeah.
like when I was really young, though, I just was filled with so much, like, maybe it was like lack of
that
frontal cortex.
lacking that aware, like, you know, because you feel like you didn't care as much.
I
you
was just
know?
filled with so much wonder.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like, I was like,
That's what it was like.
Disneyland. You know what I mean? I'd smoke and I'd just have like all this fun. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. It was just like laughing, eating food, stomach hurts. I'm laughing so hard. And then at a certain point, it just became like,
Help.
why the fuck is he looking at me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm like,
He knows.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
They
God.
all know.
He's
Yeah.
he's the CIA guy.
Yeah.
they're all talking.
He's
about
going
me.
to shoot me.
Yeah.
They're all looking. Why are you looking at me? You know what I mean? I just fucking, and then I'm like, did I say that out loud?
I would say weird shit out loud.
Yeah. And I'm
Oh,
like,
we already talked about
yeah,
your.
yeah. And then I
RJ
would
had a really
trip
funny
out and need to
story.
be away from everybody.
Yeah. That's how I was. But when I drank, that was the only time when I got shit faced, when I would go to the bars, when I'd be drinking with my friends and I was like plastered, I could smoke then.
Yeah.
That was the only time.
Then I would enjoy it. I'd be like,
and then
dude,
I would
feel
get
chill,
normal.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what the scientists. Bill Nye, where are you at? Come through.
Where's Bill?
I think
Yeah.
it's just- I
Bill's
think-
in recovery. Bill Nye.
Get the
No
fuck out of
way.
here.
I was like, wait, what?
That dude gets shit faced, dude.
He was mixing all kinds of chemicals.
Yeah.
School was getting lit.
He drinks lean. That's his drug of choice. Bill Nye, the turned up guy.
Yeah, I fucking love that guy, dude.
Bill Nye.
This
We
is
should
called
get Bill Nye
science
on
guy.
the podcast.
Yeah, now
Have
we
some
have
science
to.
experiments and
It's
shit.
only right.
This is
we
called
have to.
activist, guys. It's fucking
Yeah.
perp. Just drinking that shit.
So what's up now, man?
Honestly, now is like again, the whole day by day, every day is like better than the last. All those cliches are totally have been validated. I feel so much better. I feel, I just like the lying thing, always having to keep up with the lies.
Right.
That was a fucking, I mean, obviously
Nightmare.
getting drunk and stoned 24/7 was definitely exhausting, but then just like, wait, did I tell him I was here? Or like just not having to lie anymore.
Yeah.
And not having to be like, how am I gonna, like constantly trying to get back to zero. Like I would go get shit faced and then I'd be like, all right, I know I have to go work out for 2 hours and just sweat out all the shit that I just did.
Right.
Like now it's just like anything I do for myself is like an investment in
Bettering
the
yourself.
green. Like I'm not
Right.
in the red trying to get back to zero anymore.
Right.
So like anything I do for my health is like a that's compounding positively. It's not trying to negate
Yeah.
some shit that I did. That's been really awesome. And then just really actually learning who I am like as an adult for the first time, because all my 20s were drunk and high. Like I didn't, so like for the first time, I mean, I'm 30 now. Like I'm really just learning who I am, like unencumbered by weed or alcohol or like, and it's uncomfortable. I mean, there's definitely, but it's also fucking dope.
Right.
Like learning who you are. And like, I mean, I'm sober, but I still do like, I'm still like a rascal. Like I still do like little, like I'm still just Nick. Like
Yeah.
I'm me.
Yeah.
And like, I love that about myself. Like I am a sneaky Pete. Like I do little like I can be devious and like I can be like sneaky and shit, but it's not, I mean, I'm like definitely like yeah, nothing bad, but like
Living.
just living
Just
and getting
living,
myself
yeah.
into funny little situations and like
Yeah.
the shit that I get myself into and like enjoying that instead of like being drunk and like I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, being present for life.
yeah.
Yeah, fully
and,
present.
and just enjoying who I am as a person, like this, like just spontaneous. I love life. I like love meeting new people. I like getting myself into funny little
Things.
yeah, and it's like
Sneaky Pete
yeah.
situation.
yeah. And
Have you ever seen that show, Sneaky Pete? It's so good. You gotta watch it.
I gotta check it out now.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the things that I like was trying to mask.
Yeah.
Just to, I don't know if it was fit in or like coping with not being okay with that stuff, but like, I just feel like way better. And I like all my quirks, all my fucking like, I have shitty ass days and that sucks, but it passes. And yeah, I mean, just like getting back into all the hobbies that I love making music. Like I'm a fucking music nerd. Like aside from comedy, like I love music production. I love like musical engineering. I like all the hardware, like all the fucking knobs and like that's my shit. Like I love making music. I love like the science behind like different frequencies and how, like mixing and like mastering a song that you like hear on the radio. Like, why does that sound so good? And I totally fucked all that up with like smoking and drinking because like we were saying, like I would get into the studio and like I would go, there's like studios here in LA that I would go to. Like I have a friend who's a very, very established, vocal engineer. He records for like Skrillex. He's recorded for Kanye. He's recorded for fucking, who's he working with now? Oh, he worked on, Put a Ring on It, the Beyonce song. He actually he has Grammy. He's won Grammys. So I've been I've been in the studio with him in LA. Could have been a completely different situation, could have learned way more, but I was drunk and fucking stoned. Right. And it's almost like you're squandering. Yeah, it's like I didn't even know like what I was
Yeah, you had these golden opportunities.
And I
you had
fucked it up.
access,
Yeah,
and you were high. And
I was drunk and high and like
playing one key.
Yeah,
and like
or just being like, "Duh, it's hilarious." Like,
Yeah.
dude, come on, man. And like now, like getting back to who I am, I'm like so nerdy about that stuff, and I'm like making knives now. Like I love knives, so I'll
Making
go.
knives.
I go up to like I'll go find like a bunch of railroad spikes, and then my cousin's husband, he has a forge, so we'll go and fucking
heat
the shit up,
hit 'em with
hammer it
hammers.
out, make a knife.
Like a
So like
samurai.
welding? Is that like a wait, what's a forge?
It's just like a really hot.
So you melt it.
It turns red hot,
Yeah.
and then you got like a little anvil.
And
got
and
my
you're
hammer.
hitting
Like in
it.
Game of Thrones.
Literally,
Game
yeah.
of Thrones. He's like a samurai
Like
sword.
a samurai.
Yeah.
But like just being like a fucking asset to my family too. Like my aunt or my cousin's making a podcast. Like I have 4 little baby cousins, these 4 girls, and like I'm like spending time with them and getting to know them, and like all these things that I could not do drunk or high.
Yeah.
Like helping my family, being like an asset instead of a fucking burden or
Somebody that everybody's worried about.
Yeah,
and
worried about fucking.
Where's Nick?
Hey, can you send me $200? I need blah, blah, just to go get drunk. Now I'm like very helpful. I'm accountable. I'm like useful now, and I wasn't.
Are you open-minded to the 12 steps, or do you think it's something you're not really interested in?
I'm definitely open-minded. I had a pretty gnarly, not bad, but just kind of like stinkery experience out here when I first went to AA. My first AA meeting, my girlfriend dumped me. I went back to Hawaii for like a week, like forgetting Sarah Marshall. I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Drank my ass off in Hawaii, got home, and I was like, dude, I need something like, and I think I was just so desperate for connection with another human being. I don't even think it was about AA. I was just like, I need to go dump my bag on someone who's gonna fucking get it. So I went to the AA meeting, fucking started crying in front of everybody. Fucking everyone was like, dude, yeah, man. I got a sponsor. That night we went and had tacos after. Everyone was like all, and
Fellowship.
yeah. But he was a great sponsor. He was the fucking man. He's awesome. I love that dude. But he would call me and be like, okay, we're going to read the book for 3 hours tonight.
Oh.
And that kind of just, I was like, is this what everyone does? So I was like, that kind of turned me off. But I would be totally willing to do that. I don't know when, but I'm really not opposed to anything. I'm open to everything. But then I heard like people were like, yeah, we're doing a 4th step workshop. It's going to take 8 weeks. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? So there's like a lot of like gray area stuff.
So every sponsor does things usually a little bit differently. I know how I work with my sponsees is completely different than other people that I know. It's like, it's all the same, but there's different ways to go about it. I feel like RJ probably does some real fucking deep, intense 8 week workshops, but that is not the only way that you can go through the steps. So
I feel like there's just so many different, I don't want to say levels, but it's just like there's so many ways up the mountain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's just so many ways.
Like there's the deep divers. Like I feel like you're a deep diver.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm more like steel on steel accountability guy.
Yeah.
I'm not like the deep dive kind of guy. I'm more like, I want to be in a room with a bunch of other dudes, and there's one dude that's totally bullshitting, and all the dudes are going to hold that dude accountable.
Yeah.
Right? It may be like a loving, compassionate, but also maybe slightly aggressive sort of way.
Yeah.
Just because that's what I needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm kind of more like that. But then there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many ways. I think that AA is really just about like finding, or the 12-step community is about finding your niche. You know what I mean? And I just think that it's like to keep going, keep showing up. You know what I mean? Like kind of like what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Right? It's like keep showing up, keep listening, keep hearing, keep. You know what I mean? Like listen to the little sayings and the little things and the old timer that says I'm not sure if I'm going to make it back. And you're like, fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's somebody and you're like, wow, man, I want what that dude has.
Yeah.
And
The meetings that you said that you've been going to, those are 12-step meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12-step big book. Yeah. I go once a week, And I'm kind of like what we were talking about, like punk sober, like
Yeah.
the new sober is like, I don't know if this is right. I don't know. This is probably like controversial, but I definitely don't want to forget. I respect alcohol and weed. Like I have the utmost respect for those two substances. They can fucking ruin your life. I get that. I will never look at that shit like it's fucking not what it is. It's like a gun. It's like a loaded
Poison.
fucking gun. Do I want to talk about that every day? Like the thing that kind of turns me off about AA is I mean, I love my home group. I love going every Sunday. They're great people. But some people, I feel like recovery is their new addiction, or like that's their life now. And it's like, dude, I went to 4 meetings today. And I'm like, honestly, like no hate. Like if that's what you need, like I totally get it. But it's like, dude, the analogy I use is like, if you got your arm bitten off by a shark and everywhere you went, someone was like, what the fuck happened to your arm? Like, there'd be a point where you're just like, dude, I don't want to talk about my shark bite anymore. And I think like, so I'm definitely caught between this. Like, I don't want to forget about it. I want to remember what this shit can do to your life. But do I want to make it the bane of my existence? Like, and I've been definitely met with resistance to that. And I get that, but I don't know what the hell. I mean, I think I've struck a pretty good balance. I'm definitely I mean, I talk in the meetings. I'm definitely very, involved. I'm respectful. I'm not telling people like, this is fucking bullshit. You guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, I'm totally open to that. But I think for me, it's like, I don't know. I've seen like the people who are like, really into, and maybe that's just what they need. Maybe this is just me being judgmental, and that's like fucking not cool or not my place to do. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't have to make it like that.
I heard somebody once tell me that like they wear their recovery or AA or like 12-step. It's kind of like a loose coat, And to me, that made a lot of sense. I feel like we were talking about this not too long ago, just in the sense that like, actually, shout out Jacob Klein, and he was like really all about it, right? Just all about recovery. I want to do everything. And I feel like when I first got sober, I was like
on fire. Yeah. With it.
I'm competitive by nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where I go. You know what I mean? Not comedy. It's like I go to competition. I just want to win. And I like got sober and I'm like, I'm going to be the best sober person. You know what I mean? Like I just, yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to sponsor more people than anyone's ever fucking seen.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like I'm going to keep everybody sober. Right? Like that was just, and I did that, man, for like 2 years, It was like 2 years just nonstop every day, 7 days a week. Like I was that dude. You know what I mean? Like we do 14 meetings a week. We pop. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if you don't have at least 3 guys sponsoring in the work, like you're just not at the maximum. Yeah. Right. And then somebody told me, because I was starting to get a little burned out, right? I was starting to get to that place where I'm like, it was like the bane of my existence. Yeah. Like it was like everything. And I can't maintain that. Right. And I don't think anybody can. Yeah. Right. I don't think that's a sustainable way of life. Right. And then I was doing all these 10 steps, calling dudes, right, about it. And somebody was like, recovery and 12 steps should be like a loose coat. It shouldn't be like the super tight fitting, zipped up, like, ugh. And since then, over the last like 5 years, it's just become a working part of my life, but it isn't my whole life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I endorse what you're saying.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
In the sense that like I don't even think anything when you're talking about different ways up the mountain, I think in recovery it's going to be controversial because people see this as like, this is what saved my life.
Right.
And if something has saved your life, people become very dogmatic about it.
Yeah.
And that was me. Like I was super dogmatic about it for the first couple of years. But that sort of route that I think that you're taking is actually like the much like easier, softer way. Yeah. Of like, because if you're just going once a week and you're listening and you're sharing and you're a part of,
like exactly, like
recovery will be a part of your life.
Right. I want to like, again, like I want to stress this the most is like I don't want to forget
Right.
This isn't me saying like, I want to forget about all that shit. Like that shit's fucking, that kind of thinking is what got me fucked up and what had me like relapsing all the time. Like I don't want to forget what happened. I'm thankful for what happened. I think it's like beautiful in a weird fucked up way that it's like, holy shit, like I made it through all that shit and it's fucking fucked up, but like I'm better for it now. Like I have new, like literally emotions that I've never felt in my, like not like old emotions that I haven't felt in years, like things that I literally, like I'll be out in like, actually the first time I came back here after getting sober, I went to the beach, and the beach was always where I would get high, where I would drink. And I just sat there and I saw the sunset and I was like, holy fuck.
Spiritual
it's
experience.
Way trippier than it.
Yeah.
And any drug, like just being present, having my feet in the sand, I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I don't want to forget any of that shit that happened. But just like you were saying, like, do I want to go to 5 meetings a day? I don't want to do that. Personally, do I respect people who do that? And if that's what you need, I'm all for that. But yeah, this isn't me trying to weasel my way out of like, I'm not like, I'm good, dude. Like this is a lifelong thing that I'm going to have to like deal with. And like, I mean, I'd be lying if there aren't days where I'm like, I mean, definitely few and far between, but like, I'll be like, you know what? Maybe I could probably just hit like microdose some weed. Like I could do that.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely, those thoughts definitely still come up.
Yeah.
Not so much with the alcohol, just because the medication is on board.
Yeah.
And that's like, I really don't even think about drinking anymore, but definitely the weed.
Thinking about a little bit of weed. Yeah.
Not in like the sense of like, I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
More of like,
no, it's there. I mean,
it's
listen,
a fleeting thought.
Well, it's a fleeting thought, but it's been a working part of your mind for so long to expect that not to happen.
Right.
Like I feel like when people get sober, if they're like, "Oh, I never think about getting high."
Yeah, it's like unrealistic to think
right,
that you're just gonna like, that's gonna dissolve. It's like
for sure
you're gonna think about that shit.
Yeah, and we have this, incredible recuperative powers of our ego. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, a few months goes by, more time goes by, and it's like, we get further and further away. So, yeah, man, I'm glad that you're staying grounded and you don't want to forget.
I don't. I think that's the most important thing is like, as soon as you start to forget, or you're like, dude, that's just in the past. It's like, for me at least, that's when everything fucking just falls the fuck apart. Because you're like, I mean, that's why I go to meetings every week. Like, I mean, it's just like a constant 1 week, 1 day a week, 1 hour a week. You go, there's always the new person who's got their 24-hour chip. You look at them and you remember you were that person. Then there's the old timer who's like, I got 40 years of sobriety, and you're like, fuck, that's awesome. Yeah. So it's like, it's just a good reminder. I think meetings I love meetings. I love 1 meeting a week. That's what I love.
That's perfect. I love that.
I don't like to go, but
balance.
Yeah.
I definitely did. When I first got out of inpatient, I was doing a meeting. I made it like an agreement with my parents. I had to do a meeting a day, and I had to take my medication, the disulfiram, and I was doing that. And I got burnt out. I was like, fuck, dude, it's like all the same shit. Like, just hearing the same cliches over and over and over again. But I think I've struck a nice balance now between the once a week, and just being like, so the gratitude is the other huge, like, I'm just like, fuck, dude, I'm so glad I didn't die. I'm so glad I didn't fucking get arrested. I'm so glad, like, I didn't fucking knock all my teeth out or hurt somebody. I don't know.
How do you feel about the higher power thing? Do you have a higher power or like relationship with anything like that? Or?
I definitely have. I'm very spiritual in a sense of like the universe, asking the universe for guidance or help. I mean, you can call it God. That was the other thing that tripped me up about AA, because my initial sponsor in LA, he was like, when he would text me God, he would put G and then star like it was a swear word. It was really bizarre, and I was like, "Is this how everyone like? Are we allowed to talk about this?" Because I don't know, but fucking,
It was so odd.
I know it was kind of quirky.
I've never heard of that. Yeah.
I know, but I was like, yeah, I definitely talk to God and look to God for guidance, and when I'm in a predicament, I'm like, you know what, like. I know I sound like a broken record, but seriously, just going back to like you could be dead or in jail right now, that pretty much fucking solves all my bullshit thinking.
Right.
Of like, dude, your hair looks weird today. Like you're a jackass. And I'm like, whatever. I guess I'm a jackass today. It's seriously like it's crazy, and it sucks that I had to go through all that shit to get to that point. But I feel like it's almost like a fucking Buddha, like Zen.
Yeah.
Like, not saying that I'm like a transcended being, but I feel there's definitely a new part of me that I unlocked through this whole process that I'm like,
that's beautiful.
Way cooler with shit that I used to
Not
really
cool
get fucked up about. Yeah.
Right.
And again, it sucks that I had to take this path. I couldn't do it like the monastery shave my head way, but I don't know. I mean,
it's our own version of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's our own
totally.
version of
I definitely feel more centered and just cool with
life.
all the shit life. Yeah, exactly. Good and bad.
Life on life's terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it just hits us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're sensitive beings.
Yeah, we are.
And it's
He's
like,
a Cancer.
Oh, really?
Cancer.
Same.
Yeah. Like a couple sensitives.
Sensitive man.
Cincy.
Sensitive man.
I'm a sensitive man.
Did you guys just come out with a movie? Mm-hmm. When did that come out?
Real Bros movie. Like a month ago, a month and a half ago.
How long is it?
How long is the movie?
Yeah.
It's like an hour and a half. So it's like
Right.
full feature.
It's good.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go check out the Real Bros of Simi Valley
Where
movie.
can we watch it at?
Roku.
Tight.
Fucking
I love-
Roku, dude.
Roku City is the most fire background for any TV anywhere.
So lit. Yeah.
Roku. Maybe they'll sponsor us. Hey, Rokes.
It's free too. You don't even need an account, so you can just go watch it for free.
I love Roku.
Yeah.
Rad. How was
Big
it? How was it
supporter.
making that movie?
It was awesome. I was drinking though.
Yeah.
And I was drinking on set a little bit. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
I feel like that's pretty norm for a set now.
Not
I don't
the
know.
way
I'm not
I was
an
doing
actor
it.
like you.
Not the way I was doing it.
I don't know if this is like fucking incriminating, but I mean, whatever. It's in the past. The last day of shooting, I went to the liquor store, bought 2 little nips and a beer, and I just like killed it. And then we shot our last scene. And then I was like, you know, there's always an excuse to drink, good
Yeah.
or bad. It's like, dude, celebrate, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I could tell when I rewatched the footage, I've lost so much weight. Just
I was
Since
going to
the
say that.
the
but
health
yeah.
benefits as far as not drinking, not smoking, eat. I mean, I would get stoned, eat at like 1 a.m. I'd eat like a rack of ribs at 1 a.m. And that's not good. Like, that's not good. But I look way trimmer, and like I could tell when I'm watching the footage, I look super bloated and just like my face is all red, and you know, I look really uncomfortable.
I'm picturing you sloshed right now at 1 a.m. eating
Fucking
a rack
ribs.
of ribs.
Well, we have
right?
Permanis.
Everywhere.
We have Permanis in Pittsburgh. That was my go-to when I was drunk, like late at night, because they're open till like 1 a.m. But I would order. Yeah, it's basically a sandwich, big ass sandwich with fries on it.
God,
And
you keep
they're
talking
called.
about that. I need to
it's
try
actually good.
one immediately.
They're called the tall boy or the big boy. It's like triple the meat. So this is like trucker food, like fucking
yeah.
like just
Yeah.
literally like breakfast, lunch, and dinner on a sandwich.
sounds-
And I would
fire.
destroy
It's
that.
It's actually so good.
Drink a bunch of drink a
My
bunch of
mouth is, I'm actually starving right now.
I
I'm
actually am really
about to
angry.
drool.
Yeah.
I would drink 2 Hearted Ale, the IPA. I'd drink like 8 of those, and then I'd order Permanis, and then I'd pass out, and then I'd piss my bed.
Tight.
And now you're just out here.
So good, dude.
Yeah.
So good.
Waking up covered in piss and being like, "The fuck."
What did I do? You got barbecue sauce on your hands.
Yeah.
Just fucking, oh, God.
7
damn.
missed calls. You're
Yeah.
like, what day is it?
How did you get into the whole Simi Valley, Bros of Simi Valley? Like, how did that even come about?
So it was back to Sudded. When Sudded popped off, we actually had a little cameo in one of Jimmy's. He was doing like a Bachelor spoof skit, and we like in the skit he like called us, and we were like, Sudded, blah.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of shooting that, he was like, yo, I have this project I'm kind of like brainstorming, and just like, it's going to be on YouTube. Would you guys be interested in like being a part of it? And I was like, fuck, hell yeah, dude. So we shot it. It was all on YouTube at the beginning, like super low budget. And then people just like loved it. And it grew into what it is now. So like Facebook got a hold of it. And then, yeah, now Roku, they did the movie, and it's just like, yeah, but it was just like Jimmy and Christian wrote it, and I really didn't think it was gonna
do much.
I thought it was fucking hilarious, and I thought it was great, but it's so hard to tell what people are gonna fuck
like.
with. Yeah. So I think I was just like, yeah, I mean, it's good. I don't know if it's like, but then it just went dumb. Like people fuck with it.
Yeah.
How much improv is involved? Is it like full script, or are you guys? Is there a lot of improv?
It's a lot of improv. Jimmy and Christian are both fucking hilarious, so they get the whole like creative process, and then just they understand that we're all, I mean, funny too. So yeah, if you come up with a better line, or you say something a different way, or they like Jimmy and Christian will riff, and then they'll be like, say it like this. Like it's very much just like, let's get the funniest thing out instead of like, it
doesn't have to be stuck.
Right. It's not like Game of Thrones, where it's like the fucking plot depends on you delivering this line. It's like, yeah, let's make it fun. If you have a funny way to spin something, go ahead.
Who came up with that baby scene?
That's all Getter, dude. Fucking Tanner.
That was so tight.
He's an amazing actor. He killed. That is like the clip of the show.
Yeah.
It's like fighting the baby thing. Like that is fucking. Yeah, he killed that.
Yeah, it was tight.
Hunter loves it.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh my god.
Sick. Are you doing more stand-up?
Yeah, I'm actually going back on the road September 26th.
Hell yeah.
It's my first show in San Diego.
Are you coming to Austin this time?
Probably, yeah.
I have to come.
You should open. You can do
We'll
it.
see where I'm at. When is
She
it?
wants to do stand-up.
I'm gonna do stand. I'm trying to say I'm going. Like I keep saying I might. I have to just say I'm gonna.
Just do it.
Oh, okay.
Go on Netflix and watch some stand-up specials. There's a lot of fucking terrible stand-up. So
I wouldn't watch them.
The bar is low, and I think
I'm
you're
gonna
pretty
record
funny.
if I do this at camp. This like in a couple days, I'm gonna record it and I'm gonna send it to all of you, and you guys have to be really honest with me.
Did you know she was gonna do that? You got to be there for it.
The Camp Sober
At
Fest.
the talent show. I feel like it's the perfect time to like environment to
It's a flop.
exactly.
Stone sober.
Yeah.
Well, there's usually a 2-drink minimum at the clubs, and like you can really leverage that because people are like shitty. Yeah. They're like.
Is there a difference between your stand up drunk and your stand up sober? Do you like? What are the vibes?
When I do stand up drunk, people are always like, "Do you ever like smoke before?" Anything I've done, like I've done a bump of coke before I've done stand up. I've smoked weed before stand up. I've been hungover. I've been in the middle of being drunk. None of it is when you're sharp, when you're sober, when you can access shit, when you're picking up on all the nuances of the audience, when this dude has gauges and you're fucking like, okay, like Hot Topic called and you're fired. Like all that shit. Like you need to be quick on your feet, and you can't be quick on your feet if you're, at least I can't be quick on my feet if I'm drunk, if I'm paranoid because I'm stoned, if I'm coked out, so I have done all that stuff, but I know for a fact that if I'm just straight, it's good. And so when I'm drunk, I suck. Like I still do it. I power through it because I'm like, these people fucking paid. But there's definitely been shows where I've been like tipsy, or like maybe even a little more than tipsy, and I'm like forgetting where the story is going. And that's, I mean.
What's it like? Have you ever been up there and just bombed?
Not really. Like it comes back to like the it comes back to the survival thing where I'm like, for real. Like, it's not like, I'm not trying to be like cocky or like toot my own horn, but like there's definitely a moment where my like killer instinct fucking kicks in, and I'm like, I have to make these people laugh. Like it's like your life is on the fucking line right now. Like, and that just kicks in, and like, I've definitely had a lot of jokes flop, like for sure. But I'm always super quick to be like, dude, like get it together. Like you have to fucking make them, like, seriously.
What's the biggest crowd you've done it in front of?
Probably Boston. I've done like probably like 500 people.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
It is a lot, but it's also a lot of, like when the crowd is bigger, you have more of a chance to make
some people laugh.
Yeah, and then like laughing
you
is
hear
contagious.
It. You hear
is
it.
contagious, and then people who don't get the joke see people laughing, and they're like, "I'm not an idiot. I get it. I get that." But yeah, kind of like, you know, I did a show at a college though. I'd done 2 college shows, and those are the worst.
Really?
Ever. All the lights are on. Every kid is looking at their phone. It's like a fucking free event or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's all these rules of what you can't say, what you can't talk about. So that like
stifled.
That's not, I mean,
limits you.
It makes it challenging, but it's like, I want to say fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, and some of the East Coast cities those people are harder to make laugh. Mm-hmm. And same with out west. It's like middle America, like in the middle of America, like
they're the easiest.
Not the easiest, but they're definitely more down to like be. They're less like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, make me fucking laugh. They're like more like down to have fun. Like St. Louis, I love doing stand up in St. Louis. They're always down to like just have a good time.
That's dope.
But yeah, like Boston, it can get a little like, let's hear it, funny guy.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you
show us what you got.
Yeah. My brother. My brother. But yeah, it's like, you know, every city's different.
Yeah.
That's the fun part of it, though. It's challenging.
Yeah. That's dope.
But yeah.
Hell yeah. So what are your plans for the future, man? What's next?
Now that I'm sobs, I definitely want to take stand up to just the point that I know I can not get it to, like I'm gonna fucking be the most famous comedian ever, but like just try harder and put in that extra effort that I think I was afraid to put in, just because of like, you know, you might fail or people aren't gonna think this is funny. Like just really throw myself into it instead of like holding back and being like, I don't know, like I think God gave me these talents. God, G star gave me these talents, and I was stifling them by drinking and smoking. Like I can make beats. Like I know I can make beats. I mean, they might not be like shit that the Lil Baby is gonna rap on, but they're fucking listenable. I know I'm funny. Like I can sell. People think I'm funny. Like I have evidence to support that that's true. So like, I don't want to keep fumbling those talents. Like I want to like use them. I want to enrich the lives of the people that live around me. I want to be an asset to like the full, like fucking, I look at Kevin Hart and I'm like, that dude, like I want to be like that.
Yeah.
Like making people that I love's lives better, not for like an egotistical reason, just because like I was given these talents. I can do things that you might not be able to do, but you're going to benefit from this because I want to make you happy, not because I want to feel better about myself.
Right.
So that's what I want to do. I want to like fucking make, you know.
Make a difference.
Yeah, make a fucking positive difference and show people that are struggling with addiction or like ADHD is like when I think about kids who are like in this day and age struggling with that stuff with like computers and iPads and like, I just want to I want to be a person that those kids can be like, dude, Nick Colletti, like, he fucking, like...
He did it.
Yeah, he did it against all odds.
That's right.
All the fucking odds. And, like, same for, like, the addiction, because I know, like, I would watch so many videos of celebrities talking about addiction.
Right.
A lot of the people, like, Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Fucking Robert Downey Jr. was like a huge one of mine. And yeah, I just want to be one of those people that someone who's struggling can be like, you know what, if he actually Bradley Cooper was the one who changed, because he got sober at 29. And I saw that and I was like, I want to be able to say I got sober at 29.
Hell yeah.
And I can now because.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
That's sick.
I celebrated my 30th birthday, like, I think it was 2 months sober, or maybe 3, or no, 2. I fucking forget, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to be, again, like an asset, like a positive influence. I don't want to be someone who's like, dude, Nick Colletti can smoke so much weed, dude. Blah. Like, that shit doesn't matter to me anymore.
Right.
And that's cool. I'm a square now, and that's cool. Punk sober.
Yeah, fucking funny square, dude.
Yeah.
Funny
A
ass.
fun, like SpongeBob, a funny square.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Fire.
Dope, man. Well, shit, I'm glad you came out, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate
so
it.
much
I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, your story is worth hearing.
Appreciate it.
And it's, congrats on your sobriety.
Thank you, dude.
And I'm glad you made it through all the things you made it through.
Thank you.
You know, I think it does make us a better person.
Oh, yeah.
And, I think like what you were saying, man, just to cap this off, there's a lot of young kids and people that are growing up right now that to be able to see that example of you being able to do this is huge.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
For those people that I think, especially today, because there's so much accessibility to stuff like this, and for people to see and hear these stories, I think it really, really helps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So really appreciate you coming out and sharing it, man.
Of course.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Sobriety is fun.
Hell yeah, it is.
It can be fun.
Punk.
Yeah, it's punk.
Yeah.
It is punk.
Yeah. I will, yeah, last thing before we go.
Yeah.
I always was like, sobriety, there was always this stigma in my head, like, the fun is over. You're just a boring sober dude, but it's like, it's not like
That's
that.
so far from the truth.
It's
and
so
that's
the
such
opposite.
a common, it's such a common misconception. I have more fun now.
That was
and
my
I
biggest
laugh
fear.
more,
Yeah.
and I have
Right.
belly, like the stupidest shit, right? And people that have been to rehab, if you've ever been to an inpatient rehab, it is the hardest you will ever laugh in your entire fucking life.
Yeah.
And that has like carried over still. We have
I was just
multiple
about to
times
say.
all the time where we are just dying, and it feels like it's almost like a childlike, wonder and just like goofiness. I have more fun now than I ever did.
I think
when
the
was
hardest
getting
I've
high.
ever laughed was when we were all at that dinner. The
Alex?
first time we all hung out.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I swear I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, we were crying.
really great.
We were crying tears.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a
Alex
beautiful
is a little
thing.
baby bird.
Yeah.
Sobriety is fun.
It is.
Sobriety is fun.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Cool kids get
Fuck
sober.
yeah.